SFedU Voices, podcast, episode 3.
This is our podcast, SFedU Voices, and today we have a special guest, Elena. Please, could you introduce yourself?
Hello, Victoria. Thank you for having me here today. Yes, my name is Elena. I am from Peru, and I am enrolled in the master's degree program, International Communication, Languages, Cultures, and Diplomacy here in UFU, Southern Federal University.
That's great. So tell us, please, about your story behind why did you choose exactly this university? Why did you choose Russia? Why not other countries?
Well, I think I've always thought that Russia is a very interesting country, the biggest country in the world. I always wanted to visit. And actually, my main motivation for being here today is the program I chose. It really matches very well my background in languages, and I was looking for a program that could open more opportunities for me connected with international relations. So this was the perfect program for me.
Yeah, that's nice. And so why did you choose Russia? Like what motivation did you have when you entered here?
Yes, well, I chose Russia because it has a good academic tradition, I think. And also, as a language lover, really learning Russian is an interesting challenge. While it is a challenge, it is also very rewarding. And it has allowed me to really see the world in a different way, to know different ways of thinking about situations in the world, and also learn more about the traditions here, the lifestyle. First, of course, I started as a language learner. So everything I learned about Russia was through books, for example. But it's a complete different experience, and of course, much more impactful in my life to be here.
Yeah, that's very nice. It's very nice to hear. I hope that all your expectations will come true, will be as you expect from them.
Oh yeah, yeah, me too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So let's talk about your application process. How was it? How did you apply? What was the peculiarities, maybe?
Yes, it was actually very interesting because it was the first time I applied to a program through a portfolio contest. So I had to write a letter of motivation, and I had to write also a text in English related to philology and international relations. And I had to upload also my documents. Everything was done online because I was in Peru at the time. And it was interesting for me to do that. It was already some months ago, so I don't recall the exact details. But I had to scan every single document, and I had then, I think for the following paperwork, I also had to legalize to every single document. So yes, it is more than just applying. There are other procedures connected to the applying so that everything is legal and in order, yes.
Yes, you have to prove that your papers, all your documents are legal, you took them officially, of course,
exactly. Yes.
But there is no much problem with this.
No, really, in the application, I think it's not really problematic. It is easily done.
Okay, that's great. Okay, and what about your visa traveling process?
Yes, but the visa process in Peru is really not too complicated because you just get your documents they ask you to bring, and you pay, and according to the fee you pay, you get your visa the same day or in a few days. Maximum, I think it's a week, if I remember correctly. But that depends on the student, because if your studies already started, like it was in my case, it is better to pay to get the visa on the same day. This is what I did. And to prepare for the trip itself, Peru is really far away. It took me more than 50 hours to arrive to Rostov. And because I traveled by plane first from Lima to Moscow. Mm-hmm. And from Moscow, I took the train to Rostov. And that takes a long time, of course. So it's important to prepare mentally and also physically. Because it's a long journey and it can be really exhausting.
Yeah, I think it's a huge way. It's such a huge distance between these two countries. Not only like about kilometers, maybe we will talk about this, about culture difference later,
exactly.
food difference. Okay, so let's go next. And so you came here first. When did you arrive? September?
In September, yes.
Okay.
I am almost a newcomer because we are in October. Yes, I arrived in September, the 25th of
pretty early, actually.
Of September. Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So what was your first impression of Rostov and this university?
Mm-hmm. Of course, my first impression of Rostov is that it's a very big city, bigger than what I expected, at least. Mm-hmm. And I really like the European style of the city because many of the old buildings are pretty well preserved. And for me, nowadays it's autumn, like fall season. And I really like the colors and how in the city you have lots of trees, green areas. I really like the city. I noticed also that there is a little bit of traffic. Yeah. But this is something that we can find in every single big city. So it's something that I was actually expecting. But the city in general seems full of life too, especially in the central area close to the campus. The campus, for me, it was really impressive the first time I entered because the doors were so heavy and so big and even the stairs, all white and everything seemed very elegant. And I felt, very happy to know that this was going to be my campus. Yes.
Sounds very cute. Mm-hmm. Such a cute story. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so I think that you remember your first week here. Maybe you had some culture shock or maybe some surprise, like positive or negative, something you faced here.
Yes, of course. Well, the first thing that I would like to mention is that I was surprised by the kindness of people. Really, when I was in the train, people helped me a lot. I don't have a high level of Russian. I speak some Russian, of course, but people were so helpful, so understanding, and so kind. They helped me at every step of the journey, really. And on a not so positive note, I'm a bit also surprised by the amount of paperwork that we have to do as foreign students, because it's the time and the money that we have to invest in these procedures, this paperwork, and I started as soon as I arrived, and I still have more paperwork to do. Probably is the usual way, but this is my first time doing any foreign studies here in Russia. So, yes, it seems a little bit overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah. Considering kindness of people, I hope these people will surround you all over your way and journey in Russia. Mm. But about bureaucracy, if we can say like this, all this paperwork, I think it's made all for the security and to feel safe, to be safe here. So
yes, I totally understand. I agree with you because Russia is in let's call it a special moment in history or in its history. Mm-hmm. And so I think that the government is taking all the necessary measures to ensure that the national population is safe, and part of these measures involve major control over foreign citizens.
Yeah.
So I totally understand, and it was my decision to come here, so I know I have to deal with it in the best way possible.
Yeah. If you need any help with Russian documents, you can always write me.
Yes, thank you. Actually, the staff and volunteers working in the migration office, they are super helpful too. Really, they are so patient with us. Yes, but sometimes when we actually go to the institutions, they have so much work that sometimes they don't have the time to understand the struggles of the foreign student who doesn't really speak a lot of Russian. So, but again, it is understandable. In any country, civil servants, they are tight, with their time, and so I think that we as foreigners have to do an extra effort. But it's all part of the process, because as we are learning in our classes, for example, there is this culture shock, the first impression, but it's necessary, and it's the first step to start growth, so yeah, I hope that I will overcome this phase, and then finally I will be able to adapt and enjoy even more.
Yeah. And you have here 2 years in Russia, right?
Yes, my program is scheduled for 2 years.
Okay, I got you. Let's go next. What about your relationship to the academic process here? Maybe your relationship to professors here, and how much is it different from Peru?
Well, this is also a very interesting question. For example, the relationship between students and teachers here in Russia is extremely respectful. You use the name and the patronymic to address your teachers. This kind of formality does not exist in Peru, for example. We call our teachers just by their first name, and we consider them almost like friends, like there is a very horizontal relationship in Peru. Here I feel that there is absolutely no I don't want to say that there is a vertical relation, because there isn't, but I noticed that the attitude towards teachers is super respectful, and I actually like that. I think that we need that a little bit also in Peru, sometimes.
Yeah, I guess it's related to that they are older. We have to respect people who are older, and this generation gap.
Yes, exactly. And everything is part of the culture. Some cultures simply tend to be more horizontal, even in their language, because this is a language thing, the addressing a teacher. But the relationship is very friendly with the teachers too. They are like experts in their respective fields, and just like teachers in Peru, of course. Yes, but this way of addressing, it took me a little time, to adjust to that.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. What about one thing that you love about culture here, and one thing that you would prefer, you miss from your Peru culture?
Yes. This is a difficult question. I am here for a relatively short time. So I feel that I haven't had the opportunity to experience the full extent of the culture. One thing I would like to mention that I miss about Peru is that, for example, in Peru, in my small town, there is a supermarket, and in that particular supermarket, even though it's very small, I can find absolutely everything I need in just one go. However, here I've noticed that I have to go to one store to get one thing, and then I need to go to another store to get another thing, and then another store to get another thing. And yes, so for example, during the first days, it was a little bit hard for me to find a notebook because I didn't know where the stores were. And I found lots of supermarkets, but there were no notebooks there. So then, of course, I found. It's not really a problem. I found the stores, but then we need time for that. But the notebook was kind of urgent, as a student. So that was a little bit strange for me because in one single store I would find things to clean the house, stationery like books, pencils, these kinds of things, food, clothes, and technology in my small supermarket in my town back in Peru. And here I think it's more specialized, but in those specialized stores you have a wide variety of those products. So you have more choice actually here. So, but sometimes just because of time economy, I would like to find everything in just one store. But it could be also because I am getting familiar, with the city and with the types of stores. And maybe there is one where you can find everything. So it's just not around the corner where I live.
Yeah. Okay. What about making friends in Rostov specifically? How is it being an international student here?
Well, international students and Russian students are very friendly. Yes, and they are very friendly. I have made already, friends from different cultures because my program is in English, so there are several foreigners, but there are also many Russian students, and it's good to talk with all of them, really. They are all very open, and Russian students, they are very helpful too, because they try to practice their English, for example, with us, and they are always ready to, give us a piece of advice, for example, or explain little things, little details that maybe we don't understand. The social cues sometimes are a little bit different. So Russian students are very, very nice, really. In fact, my roommate, for example, she is from Russia, and she has helped me a lot, really. Yes.
It's nice to hear.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about the food? What's the food situation here? How much is different from Peru?
Yes,
food culture.
Well, the food, of course, it's different. It's a whole topic on itself. Yeah. So, I haven't visited a typical Russian restaurant yet. I am looking forward to that experience. I have tried pelmeni, and they were really good. They were really good, like comfort food, right?
Yeah.
And definitely, I cannot cook my Peruvian food here. And because of the lack of ingredients, probably there are these ingredients. I need to go to the specialized store probably to get them, but I don't know where that store is yet. Maybe if I find, I can cook for my friends. But now, no. So far, I am just trying to cook with whatever I find in the supermarket. And for example, I see the difference in prices sometimes because in Peru, eating avocado, you can find avocados like everywhere and very good ones.
Yeah.
But here, of course, it's different. A different type of avocado, smaller, and they are sold not ripe necessarily. But in general, I think that the variety of products to be, to eat well, let's say, it is possible, but you have to invest, a little bit in your food, not, especially if you want to eat fresh food. It's better maybe if you go to a small market, because there are many markets to farmers' products and these kinds of things, which are also a good opportunity, because in supermarkets practically don't interact with people. But in a market, you have, I see, in my opinion, double advantage, because you save some money and you can talk to people and practice your Russian and practice also the value of money. Because this is a very important point for all foreign students who are not familiar with the money. Because here everything is in thousands, sometimes, particularly in my case, philology student, okay, math is not my strong point. And I can't feel how much I am spending. So I have to be very careful with that. And in the market, I can pay with cash, so I can see how much I'm spending. And I think that's important at least for the very first weeks. Try to use cash so that you understand, because if you just use your card, you don't feel how much you are spending. And I think it's really important for a student, because since we know there are sanctions, you might have problems, sending yourself money, for example.
Yeah, such a useful piece of advice. I think it will be useful also for Russians. Just like you have to feel this amount of money. Maybe it's the matter of the time to get used to this currency.
Currency, yes, and to calculate, how much is in your currency or how much is in dollars, for example, if somebody's trying to, calculate according to an international currency.
Yes, why not? So we're coming to the final part, and looking back, what is the one piece of advice that you would like to know before you arrive into Russia?
One piece of advice. Yeah. I would have liked to know how important it was to get your registration. Because that's an aspect that we don't really deal with in Peru. Of course, we are registered in a specific address, but it's not as strict as it is here. And at the very beginning, I didn't know why it was so important, this registration, but it is really crucial to stay legally in this country. So this might affect your living arrangements, because you cannot really choose freely where you are going to live. Since as a foreigner it's very difficult to find a place that will give you the registration. So you will have to rely on the dormitories, because they will give you the registration, and then you have the peace of mind to stay here in Russia with your registration. So that, for example, was a bit of a shock for me to know how strict it was. I think there are some historical roots for this fact. But probably for people who don't have this kind of law in their countries, it can be a little bit strange, and then why all this paperwork? Why do you need all these things, Yeah. So, and also because of this registration, it's not for free. So you have to consider again, coming back to the previous piece of advice about the finances, you have to take also that into consideration.
Yes, you're right. And I think that it's also important to keep track on it when you are already in Russia. You have to renew it when it's necessary.
Exactly, yes, because if you spend, I think, 1 week, right, away from the place, then you have to redo this registration process. And it's not really easy, because we were talking about bureaucracy, and I think that maybe... there are people, of course, who do this registration for students, but probably takes a long time, or probably it's very difficult to do. So it's better to keep that in mind, that you need to have a place to arrive, and it's good to just go directly to the dormitories.
Okay, and Elena, what would be your final advice for people who are not sure, who still hesitate if this university will suit them or no? What will be your final advice for these international applicants?
Yes, for all the international applicants, I would suggest them to read carefully the description of every program, and they have also to see how well they fit into this program and how it aligns with their goals and how it aligns with their vision in their future. Because making the decision of moving to another country to study for such a long time, it has lots of implications, emotional implications, financial implications, and even health implications sometimes, So I think that they should carefully consider, and once they are ready, there is no need to hesitate. Once they are ready, they just have to do it, get ready, like a marathon kind of thing, because you have to prepare mentally to be far away from your family, your support network. You have to be able to accept things that you are not really used to, and to be very resourceful, so that you can move in a complete different environment with a complete different weather, for example, too. Yes, and still be confident enough to know that you are going to be successful in this life project, right? So that would be my piece of advice for them.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your words, your sharing with your experience. I think that it was such a great opportunity for the international applicants and for anybody else, like Russians. I'm sure that they will watch it to hear about your experience and maybe to get something new and to change their opinion. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. So thank you guys for watching us, and stay tuned. Follow our channels, keep updated, and write in the comments if who you want to see next, or maybe your ideas about this video. Bye bye.
SFedU Voices, podcast, episode 3.